All right, we are in the house, as they say. Right. I'll, I'll, I'll check the chat. I'll put something on. Check the chat on. All right, probably won't be much. I'll put something. Something. All right, let's go. So I have to look up. There's one exam thing left. It should be really quick. It depends on how well you do it, but these questions are hard anyway. So, uh, one moment. I have to go into my student system or whatever. And so let's take this seriously. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking this seriously. I just have. If you have been reading my blog, you just know it's like a load of misery. Basically. So I've been preoccupied with too many things, but that's okay. Well, I have the question in my phone. Welcome, comrade. Tip. It's comrade here. Oh, it is working. That went a bit slow. All right, so there is one moment. Lund. And it was only, it's a very simple question. It's not a very, it's like one, the homework itself is super simple. You can know, for to begin with, you can know my enormous name. It's big, so everyone can see everything, right? All my enormous secrets will be revealed. My real Chinese name. Let's not be a cockhead. You can also have this. If I would remember what it was. It's like my memory is not what it used to be. Question is作为专业译者，你需尊重并支持同行，促进合作，维护行业声荣，不得从事损害职业名誉的行为。你发现同行翻译有严重错误，是否应当在客户面前直接指出？要如何处理？ It's a quite concrete question, so I'll even translate it for you. 1 second. It's not the super. It's not like you have harder ones. Like in all seriousness, right? We can blah blah blah, but there are harder ones. This one is already a bit difficult, but I think it has kind of a concrete answer. Sadly enough, it is not like an ideal concrete answer, but I think this one you can get it right. Um, Let me check my 学号. Oh, by now I should know, right? 3 zeros, no? She's not the smartest one on earth. Trust me on that. He is pretty dumb. Windy. So answer. I'll do this. I'll do this one in English to save some time because I have a lot of. I have then one thing left, and that is only Chinese. So if you would love, for some strange reason, you love watching that, which I don't think anyone does, but dude, you're still. How do you say this? Don't worry, there will be more. Answer. Okay, so the point is, if they're blah blah blah, blah blah blah. So if this is about translation, right? So you're translating, and apparently together with someone else, and someone makes an obvious mistake in front of, oh, the client. It's called client, right? In normal polite English. But you have all kinds of things to do. You have to protect your business. Your In the code of conduct, it's written that you have to protect your fellow interpreters. It's a fairly weird thing. Okay, this is a bit of a niche area, of course, and why I would be streaming this, who knows? But like, it's a little bit weird. So you have to protect all kinds of things, and you have to follow the law. It's pretty strict. It's pretty dry. If you do like real translation, and not even for business, but for like court cases or the government and stuff, where you're under oath, right? In the Netherlands, you get put under oath. That is really dry stuff. Actually, that is like you have to follow this, that, blah 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 blah, and there is a code of conduct on top of it that you have to adhere to. That is actually like, yeah, that's like you're more like a machine than there is very little room for. And there are many questions. When you translating is not so easy. There are different ways of translating the same sentence. I mean, how do you do that? Etc. 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 So there is all kinds of stuff. However, and they luckily did not screw my writings over. So I write things very clearly these days. Started doing that 12 years ago. Now approximately, like almost so 11 years, and so it's November now. Now approximately now actually 12 years ago. I started writing very 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 simple for it. Otherwise, but they still weren't capable of. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so now we're here. We're still a professor posing a book on ethics, morals in Chinese. The chicken too. I'm gonna read them some Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong. That's my book on morals in Chinese. Anyway, so the answer is it depends a little bit on what situation you're in. Uh, but concrete nature, that a fairly so here is in this case, so someone you're apparently translating together and someone makes an obvious mistake, and do you immediately like point out that like a serious mistake, not like one word like forgot to edit the, right? The end. Just said end, not that type of mistake. But something really big, big. Right? Yeah, so it says van 有严重错误, so a very serious mistake, literally. 严重 means serious, and 错误 means mistake. So, but this is fairly concrete. So I think, first of all, first of all, I think that the mistake should be reported, but not immediately. So this is really, that's a big thing. But not immediately. Not immediately, but after. Go away. I think this one is fairly straightforward. So we'll see what they say. See what they say. Yeah, so I think in general you should, but afterwards. And then there are two situations. One where you're really like dealing with the law, and one where you're just dealing with the business situation. You're dealing with like very serious, like for example, with the law, you have to report to the court. And when there are three situations where when you're dealing with like serious governmental stuff, you have to report to the government. It's really it's why I would not be wanting to do this, because etc etc to the government. If if you're hired by a business, so there's one. We give There are more cases, of course, like four, two, three. You're part of like private entity, aka a business, and for you're self-employed, so you're independent. You're officially independent. Of course, you're still hired by a private entity, so maybe it doesn't really matter, right? Because all three of them you could be hired for. So let's leave that. You don't need to. So we do three examples. No reason, no. How this should be done? The reason is both. Is both. The codes of conduct are similar. The Dutch one is much more detailed than the English versions, the version in English and Chinese that I. On protecting. between colleagues. Yeah, translation and interpretation. It's tough. It's tough. Translation in general and stays true to the fact when the translation should be done as accurate as these circumstances allow. It really depends. Nature. Yeah, with government things, I'm not completely sure. Well, but I'll just stick to it. It's a paper, you know. You can always, in reality, you can always change your mind. We'll follow this one for this particular paper. It's a good question. I mean, it's a real question. It's quite important. Depends on the environment and the nature of the translator. In this case, it's below. We just to go for like high level. We just make it a bit big, right? Like high level translating. Let's say you're translating for some professor in some, not professor, like, a high politician, government agency, etc. Right. Also, I can put on, I put on a stream just for whatever reason. Okay, so these three, and we go briefly over them, and that's going to be my whole paper. This is going to be super simple. This is not going to be like hyper complicated stuff. Yeah. Okay, so core translate. If you translate what it is that the translation is as everyone can provide often translate the both and basically be dismissed. insufficient or wrong. Really wrong. Wrong. I'm not a law guy, but this is like, general knowledge basically. As long as it's in the realm of general knowledge, of course, technically, I don't really know how these things work. They were trying to make some to make it seem that there was like an enormously blah blah blah, absolute nonsense. If you don't understand these basic things, you should not be messing in other people's lives. That is as simple as it is. So they found the wrong one for these things. Can be dismissed because of insufficient wrong or wrongly. Therefore, it is imperative. It is imperative that in case of a serious mistranslation, it will that mistranslation. Mm, serious mistranslation. Okay, so serious mistranslation. A report to the court, including the reason, which might include the reason why was not was not directly. Mhm. I think I think that's one. No government. I write a little bit cold. It's okay though. Like if you really, really, of course, going to write super formal, then if you sounds a bit ridiculous, right? I'm gonna stick to this. It's good. Oh, my mouse battery is low. All right, we'll get to that soon enough. I think no one's interested in this. Okay, so government translator. Um, let's just say translate. High government official, diplomatic. Hmm. Hearing case. Entities by um, work connected governments who are engaging in high-party negotiation. Any mistranslation could be referred as well after video who then should decide. There are all kinds of stuff. This is the story of the translator. They're all okay. The other there is no. Yeah, you should. So one is court, the other one is who you're hired for, and this one is also who you're hired. It's a bit sad, right? If it's like that, then it's like that. This question is really, it goes beyond. What is it? Beyond the scope. I find it coming. It's Mm, in the current day and age, it's possible to um, the translation by recording uh, the negotiation. Making this possible to say. Leaves this one. So this one, this is a very quick exam. I think my answer is pretty decent. I think it's good enough. The writing style is a bit shitty. You know, I mean, you can't have it all. I'm a bit tired. A lot to do still. Well, there. Paste. You can also the solution. Yeah, behind closed doors. This is why the main. But we just do it like this. We're not going to get into politics. Obviously, I could go on and on and on about it. But I'm. This is a translation. Okay? I'm doing this for like translation, and not. This is not about politics. So we're Really gonna leave the politics out. The solution is similar. In that afterwards, the private of the this All right, that's about it. No, it's pretty simple stuff. This went much smoother than I thought it would. But this is actually this particular question is pretty simple. Yeah, I think it's not too hard to answer. So we'll just do it like this. Huh? So I think that's my paper. It's a midterm paper. Funny, isn't it? I have to organize these things a little better. Yeah, okay. So this is like really, what is this? Uh, 严重翻译翻译 and actually. All right, so that's it, guys. That's going to be the stream for now. I'll be back in a bit with some biking and some studying. But now I'm going to have a little break. This went smooth. It's not a hard question. It's very easy. All right, so I'll be back in a bit, guys. Not sure when exactly, but you get the point. Oh, I'm dropping massive amounts of frames. By the way, 38%, that's one third. That's a lot of frames. I know why. I know why.